following show is a paid program.
Hey family, how you doing today? We have the best of the best in the building with us. We have Miss Liz, Rachel, and Jason, stars of Ready to Love Season 4.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but before we do this, we have DNP Productions, who is the sponsor of today. Let's see the video. All right, DNP Productions, who is Diana Patterson. She is the executive producer also of the show and the sponsor on today. We have the best Liz and Jason here today. Everybody loves this Jason and Liz, the team. I've heard and heard and heard. They said, you got to get them on the show. Love you, love you. Let's go back and do some background, though. A lot of people don't know about who you are. Miss Liz, let's start with you. You're CEO of this beautiful company, Glorious Image Productions. Let's talk a little bit about that. What is that?
Wow. Glorious Image Productions is a company that I started back in 2012, and it is geared towards the theatrics. So theatrical productions, some movie productions, and basically the heart of my company is to give inspiring artists an opportunity to shine their gifts, newcomers and experienced individuals, and also to produce works that reflect a positive image.
Wow, I'm so glad you said that. Here in Houston is such a big opportunity, right?
Yes.
That we haven't tapped into it. We have Atlanta, we have New York, we have California and other places, some parts of Texas, Austin, Dallas is doing just a little bit, but not Houston. Why so?
You know, I personally think that we have a lot of great talent here.
We do.
And a lot of great theaters, like the Ensemble Theater and the Encore Theater, or a couple of theaters that I come out of. And I just believe that the opportunity is just not here yet.
Right.
And you know, we have a lot of independent artists or independent producers that are really paving the way in Houston.
Yes.
It's just, I feel about the timing and the season, and I believe Houston is going to come out on top soon.
I think so. I think so. Mr. Jason, jump right in here. Let's do a little background. Tell us a little about yourself.
So I'm a native from California.
Yeah.
And I came out here to pursue basketball at the University of Houston. So I played 1 year, transferred to Texas Southern University, where I graduated with my economics degree. I did an internship with Senator Rodney Ellis at the time.
Right.
He was stationed in District 13, so I worked in City Hall, District C. So I did a little bit of, politics my senior year in college. Graduated. Well, before I graduated, yes, I did pledge Collegian 100, Black Man of America.
Yes, with brothers.
I pledged Texas Southern chapter, so I did that. And then after I graduated and I was done with my senior over here in City Hall, I went overseas to play professional basketball.
Yes.
So I've been back and forth from Nicaragua and Honduras all the way pretty much up into 2015.
Yes.
And that's when I I really wanted to focus on my youth program and get that going, and I made it into a nonprofit, of course, and now so it's called I Am, and it's spelled IYAMM, and it stands for I've Yet Accomplished My Meaning, and it's just a program that gives back to the youth with sports, academic enrichment. We have a light program that focuses on stress and depression for the youth. We also have apparel, so if you want to go online and cop something,
you can do that. I love it.
So we're just we're trying to find a way to get kids off the streets and into a program that is suited for them. One of the issues that we found was, in high school, because I'm also a teacher, high school, middle school, they only have so many sports programs.
Right.
And there's only a select few that can make it. So what do you do with the other 200-300 kids who didn't make the team?
Wow.
So they're doing nothing, they're idle. So that's where our program comes in. Well, we have some programs for you. We have 5 different sports programs. You didn't make it here? Well, come on, I got you.
Right.
So that's what we do. We just, give opportunities to the kids, and also we build them up, with self-esteem, self-awareness, and, help them plan the direction of their lives. If you want to go to college, you want to be an entrepreneur, we got you.
Yeah, so, I am so proud of both of you. Let me tell you something. A lot of people didn't know that about you all. And you professional basketball player over here.
Yeah.
Wow. And then going overseas. Just a little different than the NBA and other places.
Yeah.
But still professional.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have to work out. You still have to keep yourself up. Yeah.
Yeah.
You really do.
Every day.
And then the travel.
Yes.
COVID happened.
What COVID.
So you had to come back home, or were you already here?
So I was already here. So when COVID happened, I was teaching.
Okay.
And I taught 3rd grade at a private school.
Wow.
So when it happened, this is literally my day. I go to work.
Yeah.
And my boss is like, okay, you're going home. Everybody at the school shut down. All teachers report back the next day for online training. And it was just like, we went from the classroom to online training, and we didn't even have the infrastructure set up. But good thing I'm a techie guy, so I was like, okay, I got it. So I got my 3rd graders going. It was a transition.
Yeah.
And you went from
3rd graders online.
Yeah. Think about that, the attention span and everything.
Right.
But the good thing, our kids got right into it.
But that's private school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. So
parents are praying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I mean, it was a hell of a transition because it's more so of you interacting with people every day.
Yeah.
You're seeing your students, you're talking to parents, and then you go from you converting an extra room in your house into an office, into a classroom, and you're teaching. You have 4 or 5 hours of straight teaching, and then you're done. You cannot interact with anybody. You on the phone, you going crazy, mama, daddy, so it's just that type of situation.
That's cool. Miss Liz, COVID happened. Your business. I mean, you out there the world.
Yeah, COVID stressed a lot of us.
Yes.
And, you kind of have to, when something like that happens, you have to try to think of creative ways of how to push forward and move forward.
Absolutely.
And, it was a shock for the whole world. So we're actually getting back up running.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like I took that time for COVID. I took that time to reflect, to plan, to figure out, what's the next step, how to move. And so that's kind of what we did.
Absolutely. We come to this reality show. My God, starting with you, Jason.
Yes.
Why did you sign up?
Honestly, I had a friend that just kept telling me, you'll be a great candidate for this show. Sign up. I'm talking about every week. And I'm like, you know what? Just to appease you, let me hear. Where's the website? Okay, boom. Didn't think anything would happen.
Right. Didn't think they would call you?
No. And literally 3 weeks later, hello, is this Mr. Hearns? This is he. But we're such and such for Ready to Love, and we would like to know if you would want to be cast. And I was like, oh, this actually happened. But at the time, of course, when this happened, COVID just hit.
Right.
I had to shut down my nonprofit due to it. And at the same time, I was transitioning with, teaching from home. So I was just, this is not going to be this is not good timing for me. And they were persistent. Yeah. They kept calling, and then finally in December, nothing really changed. Markets were still closed. I wasn't able to move forward with my nonprofit. Why not? Try something different. On top of, with the relationship and the dating scene,
Yeah.
I was just like, man, this hasn't worked. I'm 36. I'm going on all these dates. I'm getting the same results. Maybe it's something wrong with me. So let me try something different. I'm done chose a great selection of women.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, hey, look, let's give it a go.
Absolutely.
So
Miss Liz, why did you try?
Oh
Why did you
my
say
goodness.
that?
First
How did
of
this
all,
start?
listen, Cam.
How did this start?
First of all, I'm not into reality shows.
Right.
And, I at first was getting casting notice for the show. I think I maybe got about 3 of them, and I just deleted. And I was just like, no, I'm not interested. And then one of my best friends, shout out to Tori Taylor, one of my best friends, she was like, Liz, I have an opportunity, for you. You need to get on this show. It's called Ready to Love. And I was like, oh, no, I've heard about it. I don't want to do it.
Right.
Never mind. And she was like, Liz, she was persistent. She was like, Liz, you never know. What's the worst that can happen? You've tried everything else. You've been out in the dating field for a long time. You tried everything else. So do this. You might meet someone special, or that might come out of it. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. So, I submitted the application, went through the process. Process took like a year. I don't know, it was the beginning of last February. And went through finals. And I got a call from the producer, and they were like, hey, we really like you, but, you're an alternate. We're already cast for season 3.
Wow.
But, you're an alternate. If something comes up, someone drops out due to COVID, we'll let you know. Great. A couple of months down the line, I get another call, and they say, hey, Liz, we are cast for season 4 already. We want to know if you're still interested in being an alternate. If something comes up, we'll let you know. So I was like, okay, cool. And so they were like, well, you'll know something by December. December came and went. I forgot about the show. I was not thinking about the show. And the beginning of the second week of January, I got a call from the producer, and they was like, hey, Liz, we still want to know, are you available? Are you taken? Are you interested in the show? I was like, yeah. And they said, okay, you're still an alternate, but we're pretty sure you're going to be on the show. But first, you have to be ready this Saturday. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's like,
about right.
we got to get your COVID test. We got to get you through all these tests and fill out these applications. You got to quarantine. I'm like, okay, great. So Friday comes. I'm still like, I don't know what's happening. And I get a call from the producer, and I'm like, am I cast for the show? He was like, yeah, you're cast for the show. We'll see you tomorrow. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So that's my story of how I got on.
Oh my God, look at that. In looking at going on the show, first starting out the dating scene, Houston, right?
Yeah.
This is just dating scene, right? Just the dating scene, period. It wasn't working. You're working on something else. You're saying, let me just try it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the love there. And when you're going to this, and we talked about it a little earlier, you're going amongst different women that are cast on the show. You're going amongst different men cast on the show, and you're going to a reality show.
Yeah.
First thing you're thinking as you're stepping on those grounds, what are you thinking, Jason, now? You're out here. You've come on the show. You're here.
And I'm more like the guy behind the scenes type of man.
Right.
So going to the show, like I remember driving up,
Yeah.
they tell you to park right here. They have a van to escort you to the facility.
Right.
And as we're driving, I'm just saying to myself, what did I get
Right.
myself into? There's literally no turning back.
Right.
You get out, you do your walk up, and like literally they park the car, and you have this big old beautiful house, and you just see a big old camera out. And they're telling you, just walk to the door. So I'm walking, and I'm telling myself, okay, there's
Don't
no
fall.
turn. Yeah. Your clothes on point.
Right.
Don't trip.
Right.
Shout out to Ida.
Right.
But no, your clothes don't trip. You go in there, and that's when it dawned on me. And
Absolutely.
so at that point, I told myself, well, you're here. There's no point in being nervous.
You're in front of the cameras.
Yeah. So go out here. The goal is you're gonna talk to every single last woman.
Wow, Miss Liz.
That's what it was.
The car pulls up. You have to get out, and you have to walk up those stairs to that door.
I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm thinking, don't trip, don't
Exactly.
trip. I'm thinking that. Literally,
we
I'm
all
like,
do
because
for that.
we have our heels on.
Right.
Us
Yeah.
girls have to make sure we're good, right? So I'm thinking, don't trip. you know, I go into the house and, you know, they prepare you. They, you know, make sure that you're okay, you know, give you instructions.
Right.
And, you know, when I walk into the area where everybody was at, I was nervous because, you know, it was this big glass window and you could see, you're in the house, you could see people and it's like, okay, but they're like, okay, go outside, right?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, cool. And so I go outside, the first person I see was a familiar face and it was Troy.
Right.
And it was like, oh, it was like an icebreaker for me because we used to work together years ago.
Right.
And so that moment I was like, calm down.
Right.
You're good.
At least I see somebody I know.
I see somebody I know. You're good.
Mine was a little different.
Oh, my God. Yours was different. You didn't see anybody.
No, not when I initially first walked in, but I saw Alexis, so I know Alexis. Fly Jones is what everybody calls her. So her son Jet has been a part of my nonprofit for 2 years.
Oh, so that was familiar. That's good.
But when I saw her, that's when I got nervous, and she gave me eye contact, and she's like, "Yeah, hers." And so I was like, "Oh, wow!" Right. So here is a parent that I'm familiar with, and the first thing I'm thinking about is her son. I got to be respectful at all times because this little boy look up to me. I don't want no problem. So is this that type of situation?
Right. When you're looking at something, and we're going to go into it in a minute, we're going to see the eye contact and how you decide she's the one. Let's look at the video.
Hold that thought. Let me grab something real quick.
Okay. Jason leaves the table, and I'm like, what's happening?
So, this is for you, but hold on real quick. I have a story behind this. I've only gave out 2 roses my whole life. White roses. So, the first one I gave to my mother. The second one I gave to my stepmother. I'm gonna give you this white rose, and I'm being serious right now. And this is why I chose you as well. It's because throughout this entire process, you have kept it pure, honest, and your resilience. And white represents purity. And you are a pure-hearted woman. So I'll be honored if you accept this from me because you are worth it, you're worth my time, and you are worth the pursuit. Would you accept this from me? All right.
My hug.
Wow.
Yeah. Did I do that?
You did.
Yes, you did that. White and purity.
Yes. So one of the things at that moment, I remember in that moment, I was excited that the process was over. Right. I made my decision. And the night before, I had time to get away from everybody and self-reflect. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I self-reflect on was the way that Liz was moving and the conversations that we had. You know, she was so upfront and so transparent. Mm-hmm. And it made our connection move faster. Mm-hmm. And so in this moment, I was just like, man, I remember driving there. I was like, man, I called production. I was like, yo, I know I'm about to be late. Don't get mad. I want to make a stop. Mm-hmm. I need to get this woman this rose. And the reason why I got white and what it represent was because of how she moved. Mm-hmm. You don't see a lot of women moving that way these days. Not saying that they're bad people, right? But it's 2021. A lot of people have an agenda, mm-hmm. and it's hard to find honest people, you know, that will just be open to allow you to get to know them. And one thing about Liz was she was just open. Mm. And I was able to see her heart. And I was at peace right there. And I just really wanted to honor her. Right. And I felt that was appropriate. I won't be giving any more of those out. No more. Right. Maybe if I have a daughter. Maybe. Right. But yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
Miss Liz.
Oh my goodness, Cam. Okay, so my I know my reaction caught Jason off guard,
Yes, it
but the
did.
story behind that.
Yes.
The week before was very stressful for me. It was a hard week because that was the week that, you know, I was in the bubble. I almost got eliminated, and that was the, you know, week that, you know, the whole David connection went down, and he was very honest with me about where he was at that current point.
Right.
And I was stressed. And when I had that date with Ron, he mentioned, you didn't see it, but he mentioned that a lot of guys felt like that I was here, you know, they didn't know who I was, and that I was, you know, possibly acting, and, you know, I wasn't being real. And that really struck me because I knew that I had been real the whole time, genuine, and really opening up to these men. And it was maybe about a few days before, you know, before that White Rose moment, I cried out to God, and I was crying to my mom. And I was like, I'm tired. You know, I really want someone to see my heart, who I am as a person. I really want someone to see that. And so when he presented the White Rose and explained the meaning, it was like God gave me a kiss and said, there you go, daughter. He sees your heart. He sees who you really are.
Wow.
So that meant a lot to me.
I love it. We'll be right back on the Cam Hill Show.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Amazing things for you.
Experience the pinnacle of performance at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $369 a month, or the new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $449 a month, or the new 2021 XT6 Luxury Collection for only $509 a month, all for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
When you shop Ron Carter Cadillac.com.
59 और वेस्ट बेलफोर्ड पर है नुक्कड़ ढाबा, जहां के मशहूर जमाना बॉम्बे तंदूरी चिकन, पहाड़ी बोटी, चिकन चटपटा और बटर चिकन तो आप जानते ही होंगे। अगर आप बॉम्बे चाइनीज खाना आप पसंद करते हैं तो जरूर उनके चिकन लॉलीपॉप और चिकन चिली ट्राई करिएगा। और एनटीवी ह्यूस्टन का नाम लेने पर स्पेशल है $1.99 में कॉर्न सूप। सुबह 8 से लेकर रात के 2 बजे तक नुक्कड़ ढाबा आपकी खिदमत के लिए खुला होता है। For takeout and other inquiries, call 281-575-1178 at the corner of West Belfort and 59. Nukkar Dhaba.
Oh boy. I'm going old school on his butt. Let's play a game. I'm a savage. Come on.
Whoa.
Hey, I let him still attach. Ooh, everybody right, but I got it. Ooh, she got me. Classy, bougie, ratchet.
Granny's out here having a martini at halftime.
Haters gonna hate.
Space Jam, July 16th. And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey family, we're back with Jason and Liz, and we were just talking about relationships, right? We were just talking about the fact that many women and men are at home, they're hurt. They just, the dating scene in itself, just all over, not just Houston, but the world. They've been hurt so many times, and they've told me several times, Cam, I'm just, I've just gotten to be okay being by myself, but I know that's not what life's about. We're supposed to be with someone else, opposite, of whomever we're with. Just the love connection. We're not supposed to die alone. We really are supposed to be with someone. But women, as well as men, been in 10, 12 years, haven't dated, or if they have, they just said, you know what, one or two, they're just scared to do it. Jason, what would you tell them?
Honestly,
starting with you.
Yeah, you hit the hammer on the nail with the word scared. I think a lot of us, we get so complacent in our fear, you know, because of past or failed relationships. Man, this didn't work out, or I did this wrong, or this person did this wrong. So we shut down and we fall, you know, within ourselves.
Right.
And I can just say from my experience, one of the things that I was telling myself during this process on the show was, no matter what, I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna showcase my personality. If it sticks, it sticks. If they don't receive it, they don't receive it. And I'm gonna be open, and I'm gonna be honest and true to myself. So we have to put ourselves outside of our comfort zone. If sometimes, just because you're a beautiful man or a beautiful woman doesn't mean that you're gonna find a mate. You have to make yourself available. You have to get your mind, you have to focus in, just like if you're gonna go apply for a job or anything, you get ready for it. So it's the same thing. Groom yourself. Think about, you know, the things that you're looking for in a mate, and also know your areas of weaknesses and strengths. And you market yourself, you know, because at the end of the day, there could be for the women, there can be a brother checking you out. But a lot of times us men, we deal with more, I believe we deal with a lot more rejection than the women do, because we're always hunting, and we're gonna always, hey, my name is such a, I don't like you, okay, on to the next. So we're used to the rejection.
Right.
So, but we don't want to be humiliated.
Right.
There's a difference. And so we might be checking for a woman, but because she's not paying attention, or she's not available, or we perceive that she's not available, they miss.
Yeah.
And so one of the things, like, again, I can say for myself was I made sure that I was available emotionally and mentally and transparent and honest and forthcoming with my whole movement. And I believe that set a foundation for her as far as her confidence in me. You know, if you look at the towards the end of even the reunion, or even the last few episodes, she was confident in the connection that she had with me, regardless of how another woman may have felt, or another man. She stood on that because we had that conversation, and she understood the type of person I was because I was open.
Yeah.
So
let's go with you, Miss Liz. I love the fact, and this is something that I loved for both of you all, is the available.
Yeah.
Being available.
Yes.
Miss Liz, let's talk about the availability for women, just being available, because being hurt.
Yes.
How do you open up and be available? How do you let that wall come down a little bit so somebody can just come in? Because it's two different people when you come into this relationship. We've had the background of being with parents, how we're raised, and things like that, and we're coming together at this point. Miss Liz, how do we tell women how to let that guard down a little?
Wow, I will say this. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's hard. My journey myself, 17 years.
Wow.
And the first thing that I had to do was forgive.
Ooh, that's a good one.
If you have bitterness in your heart, or you're harboring something, you're holding something that have done something to you, particularly in relationships, then it's almost impossible to be available for the new that's coming into your life. So you definitely have to forgive. And you also have to forgive yourself.
Right.
Forgive others and forgive yourself. That's the first step that I would say will make more women available. And it's hard, but, you know, we're created differently. You know, we're emotional creatures.
Yes,
you know?
that's true.
And that's how God created us. But it's a necessary process to go through. Not only that, while you're forgiving others and yourself, you also have to look inside yourself and be able to do a self-reflection, a self-check, and see, this is wrong, I need to fix this. Okay, maybe this is what's holding my man coming into my life. Maybe this is it, you know, and do the work. So some of us, we get so caught up in fear and disappointment to where we fail to do the work, because this is an ongoing process going through life. And if you have a desire, you know, to be in a relationship, you cannot just say, oh, I give up. 17 years, give up. You might want to give up, yes, but if you give up too early, you'll never get what you really desire.
Right.
And so always stand in a place of forgiveness, always stand in a place of self-check, analyzing yourself, and being open. Being open. You have to be open and willing to try different things. Hello? I was going to Home Depot to find me, and now I was like, okay, what are at? You have to be open. And don't lose hope and don't lose faith.
Yeah, this is another thing too. We have so many women and men body shame themselves, right? We're so, as we get older, it's harder to lose the weight. It's harder to work out. It's harder to do certain things, right? But so many women, especially and men, but we see you. We see the women, right? We as men see. If we're looking across there and we're giving you a number, it's to we can see you.
Yeah, you're right.
We can see how you look. We see who you are. But I understand for women, it's the thing about, I remember when I was in my 20s or my 30s or whatever, right?
That's
but
true.
some women have had children. They've gone through the process or whatever it is, but we still see you. How do we talk to women about, we've got to be okay now? Because what if you never lose that part of your weight or whatever that you're thinking about, you know? And for men too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Jason, just step in on that one for you. Yeah, I'm just saying, I know you work out and everything, and you're physically fit, but it's some people that take a lot of medicines, they have a lot of ailments or whatever, and they really aren't happy with themselves.
I've never dated anyone who's had serious, medical issues or like. But I will say this, I can talk about her and I.
Yeah.
We took the initiative. Now she's very open with some of the things that she may like or dislike.
Right.
And she's able to utilize my strength. One thing is I work out, and we've worked out together.
Yeah.
And she'll tell me, "Hey, babe, look, I don't like this. I don't want to put it on black.
I got you.
I want this, or I want to get this tight." And I'm like, okay, well then we need to do this. And I think a lot of times us men, we get it wrong because you're right, we do see. But if you're connected with somebody mentally and spiritually, one thing I said about this queen was she's too valuable to pass up.
Right.
So, okay, you see some things, but then, and if she's saying that, there's some areas of improvement or something that she wants to do, man
then
up. Support her.
Absolutely.
Work out with her. Do those things to get her where she wants to be, and at the same time, if by you helping, look, she laughing. But no, seriously.
Support.
If you're helping her get to where she wants to be.
Instead of telling her, yeah, you're right, you are this, you're too big,
Yes.
So I've heard men say, a woman say, yeah, I have a lot of weight. Yeah, you are big, or something like that. Instead of saying, you know what, you look great, babe, but if whatever you want to do, I'm behind you. I support you.
Yeah,
Support.
because you'll get what you want and what you
exactly
by helping her get to where she wants to be. So it's a team-based thing. I think relationships isn't on the man, I'm dominant, and the woman, I'm just weak. No. We are a team.
Right.
We compromise in areas that I'm weak at, you're strong at. In areas that you're weak at, I'm strong at.
Right.
And we utilize those, skill sets to, navigate through life.
Absolutely.
So that's how I see it.
Absolutely. And I've seen a lot of relationships to where maybe the woman is better at money and men. I mean, or maybe the man is better at the, finance or whatever works in your relationship. We need to tell families it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, because to have someone that's strong in areas that you're weak in, that's ideal. That's what we need. That's what we want, because, that person can support and help you, and, they'll motivate you and push you, because we need that. That's what a partnership is about. Because if we both strong in everything, weak in everything, like, how that's gonna work? That's it doesn't fit. It's like a puzzle piece. And so that puzzle piece is important. So you have to have you have to have your counterpart, and so
I think we allow society to dictate what that means, what our relationship, the man is supposed to handle all of this, the woman's supposed to do all of this, but yet I've seen men be better at maybe cooking or something like that, and a woman be better, you know what I'm saying, at other things, but I think society has put that so, or we allow it to happen. Those that don't, it seems a lot better. As we're going through life now in a relationship, right? As a man, just talking to men about relationship in queendom, chivalry.
Yeah.
Chivalry. You know, a lot of, I mean, I could, I could see, you know, even dating, you know, I understand why women grab the door. They're so used to grabbing it,
yes,
versus stepping back.
Yeah, that's some.
Yeah, I mean, you know, of whatever it might be.
That's partially our fault as men. We allow that to become the norm now, and I chalk that up to pride.
Yeah.
There's a lot of prideful people walking around today, and everybody wants to be the it person. Everybody wants to look good. Everybody wants to have what they want and never think about the next person. And a lot of times, men nowadays, we take that mentality into a relationship with a female, and she's naturally feminine, and so well, I'm the man. You need to do this for me. I need to have a meal cooked. I need this. Man, shut up.
Exactly.
If you a good cook and she's like, go up in there and cook.
Right.
Hold the door open for your woman. Just the little things, because it would make that relationship flow fluently. You know, and for our case, it's still fresh and we're getting to know each other and we're dating and all that. However, it's still my duty to still be a man. It's still my duty to still give her compliments and you know be intimate and all those things. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I mean, you'll see the guy at the door. He's inside, and she's still in the car. She's like, wait a minute, Wow. But I'm just saying, as far as chivalry, the other thing I think people, and I get this question all the time, especially from women, that we haven't read the whole part of it, and it's called submissive. We don't read the whole verse, let's say, of what it is, because it does say the man is submissive to God as he is. You know, as we're going through, they forget that. They forget that part. Right. Yeah. They just want the woman to be submissive to the man. Submission is to each other.
Yes,
it is.
To each other.
That's it.
It is.
And I think we don't understand that part. Let's talk about that submission to each other. Mr. Jason? Liz, jump in.
Okay, I got it.
I'm gonna jump in when,
okay.
So for me, I can speak for me. The Word of God is a very, that's foundation for me, period. I won't ever shy away from that. And one thing in learning scripture and going to church and just learning to be a man through my dad here on earth and my spiritual father in heaven was, in order for me to have a relationship with him, I had to submit. I had to follow instructions, you know? So that same mentality, if I can submit to him and I can submit to her, because I made a statement earlier when I said there's just going to be areas in life that I'm not that strong in, that she is. And in order for me to listen to her and get that instruction, I had to submit.
That's true.
And it goes back. We're living in a time where, you know, pride, you know, shrinks that element. And I believe that submission, the more submissive you are, the more successful you are in other facets of your life.
That's true.
You know, because you can take instruction. So he said helpmate.
Yes.
Genesis 2.
Yes.
Helpmate.
That's true.
Okay, so that doesn't mean rule over and beat her up, and then she is to aid you in your lively duties.
Right.
So submissive.
I love that. Miss Liz jumped right in here.
You know, he just took it right out of my, the last part I was going to say. Submission has a very negative tone to it.
Absolutely.
You know, because how people take it and, you know, how people view it. And, you know, you said it, you know, right, Jason, you know, it's not about ruling over and you do what I say and control. That's not what submission is. You know, it's taking a standpoint in your heart to where you're able to be humble enough to listen to instructions and be like, okay, and then make the best decision for you and your teammate.
Right.
You know, and so that's what's important. That's what submission is. And the one thing that I like, you know, about me and Jason is Jason is really good at listening and just you know, when I share something with him, or it might be something that I see or whatever, he'll listen. He's not, you know, so prideful to where he, you know, you can't, what?
Right.
I know this, I know, you know. He, you know, and we both are, you know, I'm the same way with him. He tells me something, hey, Liz, because he'll tell me, look, you listen. You listen to it. Like, okay, babe, you know, you're right. You know, I'm listening to that, you know, and so I think we should just look at submission just differently.
Right.
Just change that whole, you know, shift our paradigm on what it really means.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
We'll be right back on the Cam Hill Show.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Amazing things for you.
Experience the pinnacle of performance at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $369 a month, or the new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $449 a month, or the new 2021 XT6 Luxury Collection for only $509 a month, all for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Gulf Freeway just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
When you shop Ron Carter Cadillac.com.
59 और वेस्ट बेलफोर्ड पर है नुक्कड़ ढाबा, जहां के मशहूर जमाना बॉम्बे तंदूरी चिकन, पहाड़ी बोटी, चिकन चटपटा और बटर चिकन तो आप जानते ही होंगे। अगर आप बॉम्बे चाइनीज खाना पसंद करते हैं तो जरूर उनके चिकन लॉलीपॉप और चिकन चिली ट्राई करिएगा। और एनटीवी ह्यूस्टन का नाम लेने पर स्पेशल है $1.99 में कॉर्न सूप। सुबह 8 से लेकर रात के 2 बजे तक नुक्कड़ ढाबा आपकी खिदमत के लिए खुला होता है। For takeout and other inquiries, call 281-575-1178 at the corner of West Belfort and 59. Nukkad Dhaba.
Yeah. Oh boy. I'm going old school on his butt. Let's play a game. I'm a savage. Come on.
Whoa.
Hey, I'm the head still attached. Ooh, everybody right, but I got it. Ooh, she got me. Classy, bougie, ratchet.
Granny's out here having a martini at halftime.
Haters gonna hate.
Space Jam, July 16th. And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, family, we're back with Mr. Jason and Liz. We were just talking about the fact of, you know, just love and just settling.
Yes.
We have a lot of friends and family that they're in relationships. They've been there a long time, 20 and 30 years, some married, but they're just unhappy. You know, they're settling.
Yeah.
You know, they're just saying, you know what, maybe I can just be okay.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't know what's out there. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to, you know, start dating again. I don't want to start over.
Yeah.
A lot of people. What would we say to them? Maybe, Miss Liz.
You know, that was the thing with my journey.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people, a lot of my good friends being in relationships just to say, I have somebody.
Right.
And they were very unhappy. They settled. And so with me, I chose to focus my attention elsewhere, which was, okay, God, I know I desire this,
right?
But I have a purpose, which is deeper than just being with someone. And so, so I think with a lot of people, you know, that's what helped me not to settle, is because I I was able to realize I had a purpose outside of a man. You know, I had something that God put me on this earth to do.
Right.
And, you know, let me be looking into that and working on that. I think if more people would, you know, of course not give up on your hope and dreams, but if more people would tap into their destiny and their purpose and why we're here on earth and put your focus and attention on that, you know, once you're accomplishing that, then that person will come alongside you. And I'm not trying, I know that's kind of cliche because we hear that a lot in church, but I can talk about it just from my experience. You know, it was rough, it was difficult, but I really had to put my attention on something else because I didn't want to settle just to say I got somebody. And then I'm damaged, you know, jumping in and out of relationships. And then when I meet my husband, you know what I'm saying? He has nothing to really look forward to because I'm broken and I'm damaged.
Wow. Mr. Jason, jump right in here. Let's talk to people that have been or that are, you know, that are in that this moment, because many of us, you know, are in that situation where we're in a relationship. We know we're not happy. I mean, just completely happy, you know? And we're just saying, you know, it's going to be okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not happy.
Yeah. So a lot of times I believe, you know, because I've been that guy where I'm in a relationship and I settled.
Right.
And for me, my experience would be, you know, it's discouragement. We find ourselves, man, it's just not working out. I'm going to settle. You're a little discouraged. But, you know, I've learned that there's only two alternatives to being in a situation like that. Is it's either going to come to a crashing halt and it's not going to be a good breakup, and or it's going to linger on, and the longer it lingers on, the more life it takes out of you. And that's why you see a lot of people who have become complacent like that, their energy's off. And it starts transitioning over into the other facets of their life. Work. Relationships with their family members. It can be any activities. And so we have to kind of take a step back and say to ourselves, yeah, I'm in this relationship with this person. I'm complacent. I know I'm not getting what I could get out of it. But you have to ask yourself this. You only have one life to live. Is this worth it? Yeah, it's been 10 years. I wasted 10 years on this. But, you know, God says, you know, run to the light. And that is a time where you need to stop, pump the brakes, evaluate, and just say to yourself, is this, if I continue this, am I going to get the fruitfulness that I deserve out of my life? And if I'm not, what do I need to do to stop this? And how do I fix myself? And get the courage in myself to go in the direction that I'm supposed to go, regardless if I still get rejections and whatever it may be. You just have to believe in yourself.
You do.
It's self-confidence, self-awareness, self-love, and loving yourself enough to say, I'm not going to settle for second best, third best. I want number one.
And
period.
I love what you're saying right there. I've got to love myself. So many people don't really, truly love themselves first and then able to love someone else. You know what I'm saying? They start loving someone else, and then that person has to make them happy.
There it is.
You know what I'm saying? All of their emotion, that person has to make them happy the whole way. And that's a lot for another person to do. You got to already be happy.
Right.
You know
what I'm saying?
You have to already be whole and happy.
You got to already be who you are, because if that person got sick, if something would happen, you got to already be 100%. So it's not 50-50. You got to be 100 and you be 100. So if that person gets sick or anything would happen to them, you got to be there for them and you the whole way.
Tall glass.
Yeah. And that's what the partnership is. That's where you are. That's where families, as a family, then you bring the family together. You've got to, if something happens to one, you've got to be there to help all of you to go forward.
Yes, that's so real.
Yeah. Well, Miss Liz, I'm telling you, as far as the reality show, and you all came out as ready to love let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'd like for you and then Jason to look into the camera.
Okay,
right?
this one right here.
Right,
Okay.
right, that one right there.
Okay.
What would you like to leave with your viewers? Because you got a lot of fans. You both do.
Oh my goodness.
From this, just the whole
just-
reality, how you came about, what happened, and really how for love for women that are out there. You're talking to the women, and you're telling women never give up.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's talk to those women right now because they're out there, a lot of
Oh
them.
my goodness. You know, I would like to say that, just as Cam said, never give up. It's hard. You know, nothing was ever promised that this will be an easy task. Life will be easy. But if you keep the faith and you keep believing and you keep working on yourself and you find your purpose in life and you never give up, then things will come to you. Things will come to you. That person that you desire will come to you, because if God put that desire in your heart, it's not there, you know, just to be floating around. You know, it's a reason for it. There's purpose behind it. So never give up. That's what I want to share. You know, always do work within yourself. That's important. Don't be afraid to look at yourself and see what you need to do to correct the areas that need to be corrected, so you can be prepared for that person that comes in your life. And just keep faith.
Absolutely. Mr. Jason, let's talk to the men.
My response is a little bit different because I'm talking to the brothers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it straight with you, fellas. Don't be afraid to develop yourselves, mind, body, and soul. Get your finances right. Get your relationship with God right. Get your relationship with your families right. Because when you are whole in that area, and when you start dating and presenting yourself to other women, you are that much more confident in yourself. And even if things do not work out, you know that you did all the necessary steps to present yourself accordingly, and that there will be a woman for you. But be patient, be yourself, doubt yourself, walk with confidence, hold your head up high, and just live life and enjoy your life. And most importantly, be humble. You cannot maintain any relationship, any relationship prideful. It's just not going to work. So pride comes before the fall, you know. So just be yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Jason
Yeah.
and Miss Liz. I appreciate you so much. Ready to Love Season 4. Thank you so much. Watching the Cam Hill Show, 12:31, 30 Central Standard Time. See you then. Bye.